Welcome back to the Tie 5 podcast, and we have a very special guest, Isabella. How are you doing today?
I'm bad.
I'm bad. Would you say you're wicked?
Wicked!
All right, so Isabella's back on the podcast after a long hiatus, probably like 2 years or something. And we're talking about Wicked for Good, which we just watched in the theater. Isabella, general quick reaction thoughts on the movie.
Okay. They were singing.
Okay.
It was all live, right?
I think it was all live. And then obviously mixed and made nicer.
Mm-hmm. But why do we need new songs? Why? But it was overall not bad. I honestly cannot remember much of the first one, but I think this one was better than the first one.
Interesting.
Well, the first one was just 3 hours, and I think it's unnecessary.
Yeah. Okay. I thought this was quite worse than the first one. I thought it was pretty cringe. Okay, I'm surprised. So I feel like I know the first act of Wicked and the songs a lot better than I know the second half. But I'm pretty sure I knew which were the two new songs. And I thought they both sucked.
What were they?
There's No Place Like Home, that were Elphaba's singing on like the yellow brick road with animals.
Mm-hmm.
And then the like one where like Ariana Grande's just by herself, like singing about like bubbles and.
So basically, they gave each of them their own solo song.
Yeah, but I thought it was pretty bad. I thought part one was like definitely better, which we can talk about that. But before we go,
You always have hot takes.
I just have the right takes.
No.
Anyways, I know before we used to play like our Rotten Tomatoes game, but because I didn't really fully expect that we were gonna do this podcast, I already looked at the Rotten Tomatoes stuff, so we're gonna do something else as well. Do you know?
Why don't I just play it?
Well, so we can both play a game. But anyways, do you know what Letterboxd is?
No.
Okay. Anyways, it's like a database where people review movies and stuff, and for every Letterboxd movie, some Letterboxd intern writes a slogan or a tagline for the movie. It's not necessarily the tagline that they use in the marketing or whatever, but it's just like something that's like related to the movie. Can you guess? We'll both give one guess for what we think the tagline is. So it's like a short one. Like for the movie Avengers, it's Some Assembly Required. For Kung Fu Panda, it's like awesomeness. That's it. And then yeah, stuff like that. So it could be something that's like a pun off of the original like movie name, or like actually what they use in the marketing. But as well, would you like to go first and guess what the tagline is?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I'm gonna guess that it's "You Will Be Changed," because that's classic. I think that might be the actual marketing one, but yeah. Do you have a thought?
I have been changed.
Oh, okay. Okay, and then drum roll, please. Okay, I'm right. It's "You Will Be Changed." So I think that's on the actual poster, but I don't know. Anyways, okay, we're gonna hop into review now. Isabella.
Wait.
What?
What did it get on Rotten Tomatoes?
Oh, on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's see. Wicked for Good. Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, yes, first.
Okay, yes.
73.
For audience or for like critical?
Audience.
Okay, 73 for audience. So, do you want to guess the critical too?
70.
Okay. The critical is 68%.
Oh, I was pretty close.
Yeah. And then the popcorn meter, which is like general audience,
Well,
is
after I changed it, 85.
okay.
83.
94%.
Okay.
So the people who watched it loved it. The critics think it's pretty mid.
But I feel like that's just common
Yeah, that's classic.
with these type of movies. It's just enjoyable, so the audience loves it. But then, is it like a great movie? No.
Yeah, I think for the first Wicked, had like a lot closer of like scores. First Wicked critical was 88, general was 95. So a lot of just like general consensus of like it being a good movie. But yeah, before even going into the movie, like, what is your? I know that you've watched the musical at Pantages, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like the first act or second act better?
Good question. I think I like the second act better just because I like the second act songs better.
Really? That's a hot take.
But I think changed? I don't know, actually.
You have been changed.
Hmm.
Okay, wait. First, break down why you think the second act songs are better. Because, like, okay, in my mind, like, Popular, What Is This Feeling, Defying Gravity are, like, three, like, very good songs I would like to listen to, like, outside of.
They're what Wicked is known for.
Yes.
However, No Good Deed, For Good, and As Long As You're Mine, they're not as popular mainstream wise, but they're like good songs.
Sure, yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, I vibed with them today.
Okay. And so, watching them in comparison to your, what do you think of the musical numbers? Those three specific ones, how they were done in the movie.
Let's see what comes first.
I think it's As Long As You're Mine.
Oh yeah, As Long As You're Mine. I liked it. It was good, and it stayed very close to the original. Yeah. No Good Deed. Yeah, Cynthia Erivo just can sing. No Good Deed was good. I like that one. And then For Good. I mean, come on. When they do their little, when Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande do their little vibey things where they're just basically staring at each other's eyes and look like they're about to cry. And this is like the one time it worked.
Yeah. Oh wait, so did most of the other stuff not work? Did you cry?
No.
Okay. But you said this is the one time it worked, so most of it did not work?
I'm referring to like their little interviews where we talked about this yesterday actually, or wait, earlier today.
This morning, yeah.
And we're like, some of their interviews are just so awkward. I haven't even seen that many, but it's just like the pieces that I have seen. I'm like, what is going on?
No one knows.
No one knows. But
I don't know if they know.
in For Good, it's actually supposed to be like that. So.
Okay. Which of the three would you say was your favorite song?
My favorite. I think my favorite from the movie wise, probably No Good Deed. It's just so good.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
But do you think any of them are better than the Broadway, the original?
No. I mean, the original soundtrack's just always going to be my favorite. But this is probably close.
Closer than like it was in the first movie?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, I feel like As Long As Your Mind was just like weird because like I think it's supposed to be a lot more of an adult song, and they just kind of like stand at each other and like look at each other and smile from across the room.
What's Disney? But even
it's not Disney actually.
Oh, really?
This is Universal.
Even in the actual musical, I'm trying to remember. I watched this like when I graduated high school, so this was like probably like 7 years ago.
Okay.
But it doesn't get too like, adulty either.
Sure. I think it's also because like
pan away as like, the stage darkens at the end of the song.
I think it's also because like I don't like the romance stuff doesn't do it for me in the movie, so it's like whatever. I guess yeah. I thought No Good Deed was good. It was cool. It was like I just think like I wasn't as familiar with the song, so I've watched Wicked for Good twice. Once with cousins and then now with Isabella. But the first time like I didn't know like the lyrics as well, so I was just kind of like I don't fully know what she's saying. But the second time around, I think I appreciate it a lot more.
And I also think it's like the turning point for Elphaba.
Yeah.
And I think like each of the characters in this movie have a moment where they just go off the rails.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of Wicked is obviously the story of like Dorothy of Oz, and the whole thing on Wicked is not the whole thing, but like you see the behind this or like what's going on in their lives and like that they weren't always wicked or like bad and that they are good, but then they have these moments of just like that Nessa Rose goes crazy and or like Elphaba has this moment of like why should I even try to be good or whatever. So I think that like song it at least that for me hit like that was her moment where she was like forget I've had enough, and then she goes into this whole she turns wicked or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. this is interesting because I think this is maybe my biggest gripe in the movie. I think okay, so. I didn't really like Wicked Part One very much. And like I think that's tough because obviously it's setting up all this stuff and like the things that are at play in this movie, right? But I think as I was going in, like I realized I can't like just be like, oh, like because the first movie was bad, like I'm gonna dismiss everything here. You know, like I was like I'm gonna try to like watch for good as you know, like if I'm accepting all of the premises that Wicked Part One I feel like set up poorly. So it's like I was like I'm on board with blah blah, blah this and this. Um, but I think what stood out to me so much was like I feel like in For Good you can tell how like the source material was like literally just fan fiction, right? It's like not canon, like the original whoever wrote the first original like Wizard of Oz thing.
Also, we were just talking about how they like came up with that. It was crazy.
I think it is crazy, but I also think it makes no sense.
It makes no sense, but it makes sense, and it just like who thinks of this honestly?
Yeah.
Who? Yeah, but who watched Dorothy of Oz and was like, you know, what would be crazy? Let me just write my own little.
I looked it up on
Fanfic.
Wikipedia, and like the guy who I don't know who he was, but the guy who read it, like he wrote it, he would watch The Wizard of Oz like every year. I mean, it was just like he had like a tradition of every year he would watch it. He just became like so fascinated with it, and I guess it was just like his life thing. And
Well,
he ended up writing like 15 books on
made
it.
a lot of money off of it, so good for him.
Yeah. But I think most of my problems in the movie are like the like we have to get all the different characters at like a certain endpoint, right? Because like you know like Dorothy and the Tin Man and all these people like they get to wherever they get to, and we have to make these characters do things that don't make sense according to their like previous motivations and like things that were set up in the first movie in order to get them there. So, I think the biggest one is like I don't think the Cowardly Lion makes sense at all.
Yeah.
The Tin Man also doesn't make sense because he was okay, so basically the Tin Man, right? Like Bach, he's there and he literally watches Nessa cast a spell on him and shrink his heart. And he's literally in the room watching while Elphaba like saves his life. And then once he turns into a Tin Man, then like he goes like Nessa's just like, oh, it wasn't me, it was Elphaba, and so he's like, now I want to kill Elphaba. Like that makes no sense because he was literally there and watching when he saw Nessa do the spell on him. Right now he's like, oh, like I want to kill, you know. It's like that one doesn't make sense to me. I don't know if there's an explanation for that.
I mean, you could explain it another way, but like it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. I think the whole way that they get what's his name, Fiero, to be the Scarecrow also makes no sense. You know, like they're all like on the standoff, and he's like, all right, Elphaba, now you go fly away. Well, it's like them and their army of monkeys against, you know, like the guards. Like they could have just like flown away together. Like there's no like need to like
classic. There was room on the door for both of them.
Yeah, it was like you don't need to do this. And like I don't know, I didn't understand why like once he became a Scarecrow, like why did he go with Dorothy? Like why did he go with Dorothy?
Have you watched Wizard of Oz?
Well, I know it's because like oh he wants a brain or whatever, and he goes to like go with them to the wizard or whatever. But like in the Wicked explanation, like why does he go with Dorothy after?
I don't know.
Yeah, so that one didn't make sense to me very much. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like you can probably like nitpick it and make it seem like nothing makes sense, which I think was my frustration because it's like oh like we're just getting to like the point we need to get to, so it ties in with the Wizard of Oz, and in that we're just like throwing away character motivations and like what we set them up to be. But yeah, who's your favorite character in the movie?
My favorite character?
Your favorite depiction, maybe.
My favorite character. Maybe Galinda.
Break it down.
Because I think she has the biggest like roller coaster throughout the story. yeah, everybody's track is sort of like one way, and you can see where it's going. Even if they deviate from it a little bit, they kind of end up the same. But hers was like a woo 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 woo.
Did you like her new song?
I actually kind of liked it.
Why?
I don't know. I think Ariana Grande did a good job of portraying like her in that stuck place where she is, where like she, um, really does like. Well, okay. I think in the musical version, the like stage adaptation, like it is more like Elphaba is main character, and you're rooting for her more than Glinda, whatever. But in the movie, like we get to explore more of that and like how like she is torn between these two, um, and even we don't know like because in the movie I think she like when she is with the wizard and Elphaba and like trying to convince Elphaba to join them. I don't think that exists in the stage musical. She's not there, I don't think, or she's not as like she does. She sang some lines in the song "Wonderful" that in the musical she's not around for. She doesn't.
So
sing.
the wonderful song is just the wizard and
Yeah,
Elphaba.
if
Okay.
you, and I like don't remember if on the stage she actually is like on the stage. I think she's just with him, but like she was like fully singing some of the lines too. So she's trying to like in this movie she's more like goes from like trying to convince Elphaba to then being like, oh, I gotta step out of my bubble or whatever. Even though like looking at her closet, whatever, this is like who she was from the first movie.
Yeah.
And then fully turning good at the end. And the whole thing where she invites the animals back in and everything, that's not in the musical either, I don't think.
Okay. Yeah, I think one thing, like, Ariana Grande is a great singer, but the way she sings it, it's very breathy and it's sometimes hard to hear what the words are. And especially because it's a new song, I was like, some of the words, I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. But I think, like, I got the general gist that it's like, yo, who I once was, the lies, the, like, you know, the persona,
I think it was better for her character. It made more sense than Elphaba's song. Like when
yes.
the animals were gonna leave Oz, I was like, what is happening?
No place like home. Wait, we'll get to that. Because that's a whole huge thing, I think. But I think Ariana Grande's song, what was it called? It's like The Beautiful Girl and the Beautiful Life or whatever. I don't know what it's called, but like it's not the most catchy song or whatever, like not a song that I'm gonna be like, oh, like singing afterwards. But I think one thing that was really cool was the camera work throughout.
Yeah,
like
it
they
turned into mirrors
every single time. Like it's like the first shot you see her and then you realize like, oh, that's just her reflection, and then it pulls out to be like, this is what it really is. And I think that was like, it worked on this thematic thing of like, oh, like in mirrors seeing the reflection, but it's something that's like not exactly what it is. What's the real perspective of looking at something from a different point of view? The idea of like what is seems to be there isn't, and like, I think that's like Glinda's whole thing of like realizing, yo, I've been rationalizing, coping, pretending for like all her life. You know, like we saw the flashback of when she was a little girl, and so I thought that was like very good visual storytelling, and like I was like, oh, that's like good. I think that's something that the first movie did better than the second, of having like the visual storytelling of the songs be like just as engaging, because like, right, like What Is This Feeling was like snappy editing, cool. Dancing Through Life obviously had that like huge like set piece of like all or whatever. Defying Gravity was good, of course, whatever. But I think this one, I don't know what the name of the song is, Ariana Grande's new song was the only one where like the camera work, the cinematography, how they chose to shoot it was like, like that was different, unique, and interesting. But yeah, so I thought that was good. Oh, another thing that I think I realized on the second viewing with For Good was at the end when they're harmonizing with each other and like they're just going 360 around the two. I thought it was cool how like as you move around, the sound mixing of Elphaba's voice and Glinda's voice goes up and down based on like who's who like you are facing. So it's like cool to see like the harmonies blend in and out. And they're two voices sound good, and so like it sounds cool. So I was like, oh, that was like kind of sweet. But okay, let's talk about. I think her song is called "No Place Like Home" or something. There's no place like home or whatever. What are your thoughts? Because I have thoughts on this song.
I like. I mean, yeah. Well, I knew there was gonna be two new songs because I seen it. But then, yeah, when it started playing, I was like, "Oh no, we don't need new songs. We don't need it." And yeah, like the No Place Like Home and that whole storyline. Now watching until the end of the movie, I know that they needed it because they needed to give Glinda something more at the end to do to prove that she was like
Trying to
not
become
prove,
good.
but yeah, like to show. Yeah, because it if it did end the way it did in the musical, it is.
How does it
like,
end in the musical?
I think
Is it more like tragic or?
they just. I think they just go back to the beginning, but they don't do that whole. She doesn't do. I think it's like it's good to see me, isn't it? And you see what you saw in the beginning, but I don't think that. And like when she comes, she's like, actually, I have something to say. That's not in there.
Okay.
I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that. Yeah. So I was like, oh, now that I see the end, like they wanted to give her something more than just bring it right back to the beginning. Like they want you to see what she's actually doing afterwards, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the moment watching the No Place Like Home, I was like, why no?
Yeah, and I think like the arguments that both sides made were like really just weird.
Mm-hmm.
In the original musical, like are animals trying to like escape and leave Oz, or are they just kind of like
what?
being oppressed? In the original musical,
They're just being oppressed.
they're just being oppressed, so they don't try to escape or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I know that like there's a lot of parallels to just like with like the animals being like allegorical for like any kind of just oppression or just minorities in general in any time, right? And it was really interesting to me that like they're like, well, we're tired, we fought a lot, people hate us, so we're gonna like leave, right? So I'm thinking like war refugees or like how people, like whatever, that's happened over and over again in history. And I thought it was crazy that the new song that they gave Elphaba was like, if you're tired of fighting, you know what? Just remember that this is home.
Yeah, and
I was like, bro,
it also
what?
feels weird with Elphaba because like she's never belonged in her whole entire storyline is she has never belonged anywhere where she is. Like her dad hated her, she didn't belong in school, and all she wanted was to go to meet the wizard so that she could finally be normal
And belong somewhere.
But I like never thought that she like we had never established that she loved Oz so much
Exactly.
that she would say, hey, let's just fight for it, and even if some of us suffer and die or whatever, like it's still worth, like you guys should not run.
Yeah, I thought that was crazy. I was like, there's no way she's, because like I think the first two lines of the chorus are like, if you're tired, remind yourself there's no place like home. If you're getting something, like compel yourself, there's no place like home. I'm like, this sounds like some crazy, like I don't know what the word is, but like trying to like gaslight your followers to be like, hey, no, yeah, like stay. Like I don't know, I think it's valid to be like, hey, we're gonna leave and try to like, if people just keep oppressing us here, like we can go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And then like after that, the Cowardly Lion comes in and like interrupts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which like I don't understand the Cowardly Lion's motivation either.
Me neither.
Because like he was like, she kidnapped me, and I don't know, like he's like, it seems like the Cowardly Lion also wants to like go against Oz because they oppress him and his people, but like Elphaba like freed him from the cage. So like I don't know, I didn't understand that, and it just like didn't make sense, and it just felt like dumb. So yeah.
In the musical, I really don't remember the Cowardly Lion. Like I don't think they really like went into it like that. I might have to watch the Broadway musical again because I don't really remember. I just like listen to the songs.
Yeah. Okay. In the musical, does Elphaba have a better plan? Like, what's her plan in the musical?
I have no clue.
Like, what's her goal?
They also don't really go into that much either. The musical is the length of one of their movies, so you can just assume that they don't delve like super deep into any of these things, and it's just like, oh, she's like,
you don't think about it too much.
Like in that song, Thank Goodness.
Thank Goodness.
You know where there's that part where they like the crowd members are like, I hear she's doing this, I hear she's like feeding rebel animals, blah blah blah. I hear like pure water can melt her when they're doing that. That is basically the only setting stage for what she's doing during that time, and then they move on.
Okay.
So that's the like. I don't even remember the lyrics, but like basically like yeah, she's helping the rebel animals. She's blah blah blah, and yeah, they don't really show anything.
Okay. Yeah. I like because my thing like on her like her wall at her like house thing it says like two things right like expose the wizard, free the animals or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. Which like those go hand in hand and that makes sense or whatever. Um, but I feel like her everything she does to try to do that seems like pretty dumb. Like she goes to talk to the wizard and is like, "Oh, like can you just like stop lying?" Um, and then she goes to Nessa Rose for okay, the whole Nessa thing is just like it's just like straight up train wreck as soon as she gets there. So, whatever. Um, but you know how when she talks to the wizard for the first time, she's like, "You're gonna go there and tell everyone that you've been lying and stuff," and then he says, "Okay, cool, but it won't work because no one will believe you, right?"
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like Elphaba should have. I think Elphaba needed to interact with the people of Oz at least once in this movie. Because like yeah, that's cool that you talk about it, like oh like truth is just like what everyone agrees on or whatever. But I think my frustration is like the people of Oz are just NPCs, right?
Yeah.
They're just gonna like do whatever the script writers decide, and whatever the song says, like everyone's just gonna move in like some like one big faceless kind of mass and believe whatever we tell them to believe. And when the story is at its end, they're gonna believe in the right thing just because we're at the end of the movie, right?
Yeah.
But I think
which they don't even do that because like the wizard's whole point is like people need something to believe in and it doesn't matter what it is. Like if they want to hear it, they'll hear it. And then Elphaba's like, no, like obviously no, and you're doing bad things. But then they never know the truth. We never prove him wrong as like the bad guy.
yeah,
And like in the end, like they believe exactly what the wizard like
right. Because at the end,
there's
right?
no
Like,
truth revealing. There's no like
yeah,
setting people free. I mean, there's the physical setting people free, but there's no like
animals. Excuse me.
like humanity is better than what you think it is.
Yeah,
Or is more than more than what you think it is.
which like left me confused at the end because Glinda at the end she says like if you guys will let me, I would like to try to be Glinda the good, right? And everyone like claps their hands and is like woo yay, and then like music swoons and then end of movie, right? But like
they never know that she was
not good.
Not good.
Yeah, I was
or
like
at least lying to them.
this is like what they already believed. Like I don't know. I would
they
just
believed
like
she had powers this whole time.
yeah, and so like she didn't like say oh I'm not who you think I am. She's just like oh I just want to continue doing what I've already done, right?
Which I don't know if that's something that's elaborated on in the show. That when Michelle Yeoh comes to her and tells her like, "Hey, this is your bubble. It's all part of the wizard's like mechanics, but like we'll make them all think you have powers, but you don't." I don't remember that being the case in the musical. It's just like she is like popular and she's good.
Yeah.
But I don't think they ever like. Maybe I'm wrong. Like portrayed her to be like a witch. So that's another like element. Like they thought she had powers. They thought she like controls a bubble and everything, but she didn't.
And like I think it would have been impactful if, and also like help us understand or like be on Elphaba's side even more if like Elphaba went out there and she was among the people and she was like exposing the lies or like there's something where like it's very clearly shown that like yo like Elphaba is right and the wizard did something wrong or like I don't know just the Ozian higher ups are bad and people still don't care and like that it's not just like oh okay it's because the wizard who's a liar tells you no one's gonna believe you like and then she's gonna be like okay I guess well I guess I won't try like bro what and I also think like in a similar way like it would be I think they did this a little bit more with Glinda but it would have made things more impactful of like how they see Glinda as an icon of encouragement if they actually showed her like helping soothe people's like fears and something at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like something that there's a lot of movies that the main conflict or tension is about like oh like how public views the main characters and like oh they have to grapple with that or whatever. That's the whole thing, right? Like Elphaba's like oh everyone thinks I'm wicked and Glinda's like everyone thinks I'm good. But like if you never see that interaction of like how the character interacts with the public, then it's like bruh moments. Like what the heck, you know?
Yeah. I mean, Elphaba talks like so much about convincing people. Like she goes to Nessa Rose and is like, "You can convince other people," or she's like, "I'm gonna go to this wedding to convince other people." like there's gonna be. She's like, oh, she says a line like, oh, the most powerful and influential people will be there,
At the wedding,
and
yeah.
then goes straight to
Glinda.
no, the wizard.
No, she goes to Glinda first and then the wizard.
And then the wizard. And then never actually does what she says she's gonna go there for to appeal to anybody. Well, I guess she does find out that like he's been keeping the animals, so maybe that stopped her. But like yeah, like her whole purpose.
Yeah.
We never actually see her doing anything besides like, you know, like ruining the Yellow Brick Road construction or whatever.
Yeah. Pretty bad revolutionary, maybe. I have another question on, you know, the fight between Elphaba and Glinda, like where they slap each other and like, I don't know, like
I liked it actually.
I thought it was funny, but I was like, is that like a thing that happens in the?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. A couple of things that I think are just like hilarious. It's just like Nessa just straight up died, and then now they're like out here like laughing and like slapping each other. Yeah. And then the second thing, which I saw this online, which I thought this was really funny, was obviously Elphaba captures Dorothy, throws her in like the little trap thing, and she's like, "You better take off your shoes!" And then like then they spend the next 5 minutes like singing For Good, and so like I just imagine like Dorothy being in like the thing, like crying and like wanting to go home and just like listening to like who the frick's singing up there and like crying, which like was like, I don't know. I feel like everything where like Dorothy was in it, they obviously made like an intentional choice to not show her face or not show her at all, but I think they probably should have. I don't know. I haven't like watched. I think I've watched the Wizard of Oz like in school before, in like middle school.
I don't think I have.
But I know the general story. Like everyone knows the general story, right? I think it probably would have been helpful to have some kind of interaction, because like there are scenes in the movie where the Wicked Witch of the West and the Good Witch are interacting with Dorothy.
No, I actually like it the way that it stays completely separate.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me why.
Because we don't need it.
Why?
Because it's not part of the story. Like, really, Dorothy, like, even though it's part of the story, it's not part of the story.
Yeah, but I think, like, Dorothy is a bargaining chip that they use for each other in their, like, squabbles and arguments and crap.
Yeah, but you don't need to see her.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I disagree. Whatever. But, okay.
Goodbye. I'm leaving the podcast and never coming back again.
Okay, at the end, I have a question. You know when the Grimmery lights up?
Yeah.
How did you interpret that?
That Glinda has been changed, and now she's able to read the Grimmery.
Okay.
Because of all of these interactions. Yeah, like, the whole thing is, like, I've been changed because of you, blah, blah, blah. So, like, she finally has unlocked this side of herself that she didn't have before because she was under all these false pretenses of what she thought she was, and now she has the ability to, like, actually be good, make change, like, instead of just smiling or whatever, like everybody told her to do.
Okay. And then on that, do you think, like, at the end, Elphaba's like, well, because no one will believe me, and I'm just like, my, like, reputation and persona is so tainted that they're always going to think I'm wicked. So, like, you can do what I cannot. Mm-hmm. Do you buy that idea, or that just kind of like concept that like there needs to be like figureheads and things for the masses to hang on to and cling to, and that like Glinda really is what Elphaba could not be, not just in the story but like in general, I think, because I think it's an interesting like talking point.
Yeah, I guess there's some truth to it. I mean, like, well, you know how she was like, "You're my only friend,"
mm-hmm.
and Glinda's like, I have so many friends.
But the only one that mattered was you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think in that way I kind of like the movie version because, again, it gives more power and agency to Glinda than in the musical, because in the musical you don't get to see her struggle really, because you don't get that flashback to when she's a kid. Like, we don't get that, like, she's always been put in this box of just, like, being pretty or whatever, being popular.
Yeah.
But you know, she's not that she's unaware of these things too. Like, Elphaba may see it in Glinda, but Glinda also like acknowledges it herself in Popular when she says it's not about aptitude, it's the way you're viewed.
Yeah.
So it's very shrewd to be very popular like me. And so, like, in a way, like, they both, I think, acknowledge, like, yeah, I mean, Elphaba at that point has, like, it would be very hard for her to regain, like
Sure.
credibility or whatever. And also, like, she just realizes, I think, like, in no good deed goes unpunished, whether for good or bad. I think she realizes, like, it's not worth it, like, whatever I do, even if I try my best at this point.
Sure.
So instead she just, like, it's better for her to go and be with Fiero. But, like, Glinda doesn't have that
Yeah.
hardness that would drive her away from wanting to make change.
Yeah, I guess like yeah, that's right. Like the barrier of like how easy would it be for them would be like it's just different, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I guess yeah, I get frustrated because it seems like even though the text of the movie is like Elphaba did everything she did like could to try to convince people and change people's minds, like very clearly like she didn't. But like I think that aside, I think it was interesting how they both paralleled the like kind of ignoring some things about themselves while also like trying to be what they think they should be. Of like right, Glinda, it's very clear. Like I think in the early conversation with Fiero, like behind the kind of I don't know like flower thing, she's like, oh, like I want to be encouraging, and then Fiore's like, well, I mean, just because you can't resist like the praise of the crowd and stuff like that, right? And so like, how much of it is that you want to be good, or and like, is that like okay if like that selfish whatever kind of leads you to being more good, right? Which like kind of eventually does, right? And then also with Elphaba, like I think Nessa Rose is like, oh, you're not really going to the wedding to like try to convince people. You're going because of Fiero, right? And I think that's also interesting too of like Elphaba's how much of it does she really like care about the cause of truth and freeing the animals and stuff, and how much of it is like I just want to belong and I found one person that I like can belong with and like I just want that kind of thing. I think that's like an interesting like push and pull thing. I think you like it's obviously more explored with Glinda's stuff. Cause yeah, I think she felt like more of a main character to me, or maybe I just like I think that's more of an interesting kind of
they definitely
layered
fleshed
stuff.
her out more in the movie. I liked her, and I liked Ariana Grande's portrayal of her actually.
Yeah, I think right now like on the odds for Gold Derby is like the leading Oscar like odds website. Like she's probably locked for supporting actress nomination for the Oscars, and she's currently I think in the lead to win.
I wouldn't be mad if she won.
Yeah, and I think like if she wins, they'll be kind of like giving her the Oscar for like both Part One and for Good, which like I think like we obviously grew up watching her on Victorious and stuff, and like oh she was like funny like ditz or whatever, but I think yeah like Part One like really surprised me with like oh like how like charismatic and engaging she is, while also like because she played like like in Part One like Glinda's super jerky, annoying, like mean, selfish, and like I think that's a character that could be very easily annoying for like 2.5 hours, right? But like she kind of handled it well, where you can kind of understand like oh why people like her, you know. And I think this one like there's a lot of times where I don't know like camera's just on her and she's maybe not even singing, but she's just like making like these kind of like conflicting faces. Where like I think in Thank Goodness, like when she sings the Thank Goodness and then like she sings it again of like oh like now I'm back into persona mode, and then also after they trap the wizard and she's just kind of like processing that like Fiero has been with Elphaba, and then she's like oh like go kill Nessa or whatever, or like spread a rumor, like stuff like that. I was like oh like shoot, like Ariana Grande is just she's kind of carrying this. So
and I will say her new song too, like if I did get close to tearing up, I actually got close to tearing up in that one.
wait
I really felt for her in that song.
Dang, bro. Okay yeah. Wow. That was okay. So in the movie, that was your most like close tear up time.
Yeah, and for Good, but like it's for Good.
No,
so.
yeah, it's kind of it is what it is. Yeah. I think. Okay, those are most of my general thoughts. Rip Bach, Nessa and Bach were the just like most toxic something in the I don't know.
The Munchkins.
I just thought like that one scene was like, bro, Nessa, you are evil. Also, Bach, read the room. Maybe not the time to be like, I love Glinda and I hate you. I was like, all right, bro. Any other cool Easter eggs, things that like you were like, oh, I like that. That was like awesome. That was whatever. No. Did you like the ending shot?
What was the ending shot?
Okay, I didn't catch this, but like the ending shot where she whispers in her ear to like mimic the poster.
Oh, I didn't put that together. Okay, sure.
Yeah, neither did I. I was just like, why are they flashing back to this?
Sure, good.
Okay. I know we have a rubric thing. I don't remember it. You don't remember it. It doesn't mean anything now, probably. But if you were to like give this a score out of 100, just general
100?
ball parking.
85.
85? You liked it that much? 85?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Isabel, I definitely thought Isabel fell asleep at points in the movie, but
I almost fell asleep.
okay. What point did you almost fall asleep?
I don't even remember because I almost fell asleep.
Yeah. I thought the animal stuff was dumb, but it's whatever.
Zootopia.
Yeah. No, there's a point where like at the end where all the animals are coming out, we were like, bro, just like lead into Zootopia.
Doubleheader.
Doubleheader. But yeah, okay, so overall, as we've talked, final determination, first one or second one you enjoy more?
I'll say second one.
Wow.
Just for Glinda's arc alone.
Yeah. I think I've heard rumors, or not rumors, like Universal has said like, oh, we would be doing a disservice to like our like own studio if we didn't like pursue further like sequels of the franchise and stuff, which like stop.
You can do a disservice. There, you guys have so much other material you can go do. Why?
I think honestly the best bet, I think if I were a betting man, they're gonna do a prequel on Glinda.
Well,
because I think Ariana Grande is like the biggest star to come out of this, and she's like just the most marketable toy thing, and like the whole like
you don't
pink
think
stuff.
Cynthia Erivo is?
In terms of,
because everybody knew Ariana Grande's name. Now, whether now you take her seriously as an actor, that's different. But Cynthia Erivo, I mean, she's been in stuff, but she's more Broadway.
yeah,
theater.
she is, yeah.
Like, she was not a household name before that.
Serious actor wise, she's already like, she had, I think, got an Oscar nomination 2020 already for Harriet. She played Harriet Tubman. That was her big like Hollywood break.
Yeah.
So in like kind of more serious acting, she's already kind of been there. I don't think Cynthia Erivo is like gonna be like a mainstream star, just because she doesn't like. But like Ariana Grande, like she was like pop star, but now like I think if she can make the leap to like actress, like I think this is the first time where like people are like she can be a serious actor rather than just like like TV show whatever. And I also think that like she is more marketable to kids.
She already has an existing huge fan base.
Yeah, and so like, I've heard people be like, oh, like yeah, they're gonna make up another just like fan fiction of the fan fiction where like 5 years down the line like Glinda tries to find Elphaba in the wasteland or something.
I mean, yeah, I think there's definitely potential for a sequel, like down, like time leap, whatever. What happens to them afterwards? But where do you do a prequel with her?
I don't know, but I think like, whatever it is, Ariana Grande, if they're gonna do like expand something from the Wicked universe, like Ariana Grande is gonna be in it because she's just like I think blown up even further than like she was before.
I wish they wouldn't.
Yeah, but they need to stop at this. Okay, this is a question now because like thinking about Broadway musicals.
You have so many questions.
Can you see like a live action adaptation of Hamilton? Like, because I know they did like the Broadway recording or whatever, but can you see that working?
I can see it working, but I don't want them to.
Yeah, because I don't know how it would be different because like all of Hamilton is just songs. They would have to like add scenes where it's just talking, right? And like that would be like.
Or they just run it through entirely with songs, but like just real sets and everything.
Sure.
I think it's unnecessary. But then I think a lot of like live actions are unnecessary, but that doesn't stop them because they would be doing a disservice to themselves. And
disservice to the box office because this is going to make a crap ton of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So, yeah. Any last thoughts? Wicked thoughts?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, until next time. Bye.
No, this is the end.
Unless we get Wicked 3.
No.
Bye.
I don't get paid enough for this.
You don't get paid at all. We should insert ad break. This episode has been brought to you by IHOP by Tobias.